right after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi was an architecture of emergency. And that's where you would see if I would say the majority of construction that happened was housing, like residential houses, because people didn't have a place where to live. And you would see a lot of developments, people creating houses. But now that we're stable financially, economically, and we have a peaceful country, we're not in the state of emergency anymore. Now we can think beyond that. We can think about actually, oh, who are we? Like, we can think about ourselves and the type of image that we want the world to see of Rwanda, of the people of Rwanda. And that's architecture. I think it's also one of the biggest components that speak about who the people, who they are, what is their culture. And I think that's what we really, we're getting there. Like, we're starting to reflect of who we are as Rwandans. And we want architecture also to reflect that. One of the biggest thing that we've done in Rwanda is like creating a vision and stick to it. You know, we had a vision 2020, we had a vision 2050, and I feel like when you have a clear vision of where you want to be, like let's say in 50 years to come, like you work towards that. The vision is not far from the master plan, but because the vision says like, oh, we want X amount of housing for the poor, we have X amount of roads, people need to have access to water, access to electricity, and that is the vision. And I think we're still in that vision because that's where you see like, we're creating new roads in areas that didn't have roads because we're in that vision. Like, I mean, that's a personal research that I've done. I kind of tried to see like what was built between 1994 and 2000. Literally like one building or two, like very few things were built in terms of like commercial buildings, in terms of like things that would go beyond the basic needs. But you would see a lot of houses that were built. You would see a lot of programs that were created to support the people that were in the country, people that were left without nothing. We had that conversation at the office and we were like, oh, how can actually architecture be a driver of peace, reconciliation, unity? And I'm not going to say we couldn't find like how, but we went back to the Rwandan tradition, to the Rwandan culture, and then we kind of started picking out words that we could use that define what that means. And one of the words that we used was umuganda. Few words like umuganura, ubudehe, what that means. And because those words are really linked with architecture, with building, with creating spaces, and they also mean people coming together. We don't have written history, like our history is oral, and everything it's in the verb, and being our emotions, being the way we think, being the way we create spaces, they're all in what we say. And that's when we went back to understand like what those words mean, like what does umuganura mean? Like, you know, when we had ubudehe, jirinka, gachacha, like all those concepts. Yes, like those homegrown solutions, they didn't come from the air. They went back to look at the Rwandan culture, like what did we have? Like, we don't want to lose this. These are really key concepts that can build our country, and then we took them. Those moments were also borrowed from the Rwandan tradition, like the groundbreaking. It has a word in Kinyarwanda, gusiza ikibanza, like everyone comes. Umuganda is like when people come, they actually help you to do that. In the ancient Rwanda, that's what they would do. And then when you have your structure ready, you're going to put the roof. There is also a tradition around that. People come together, they help you to lift the roof, to put it on top of the structure. And then when the roof is on top of the building, there's another ceremony that brings people together. It's called Uruguru Kanzu. They come, they dance, they drink, because they've done something together. They've built that house. And that is, because, I mean, that reflects how the Rwandan, like the traditional house was built. The roof was done aside of the building, and then they would lift it and put it on top. But even in the current Rwanda, when people have finished to install the roof, they do that. Like, you would see people celebrating. And that sense of unity, that sense of belonging and ownership is what really architecture is trying to get from the Rwandan culture, to give people that. I mean, I don't know, like architecture it's way more than like buildings. It's like, we create buildings, we build houses, but we also build communities. And that's what I love about architecture, really.